Bhutale Swayam Rupa Tadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Cuando yo hablo español hay que traducir al inglés. ¿Quién es el encargado de traducción? Mukunda, ¿tú traduces en ambas direcciones? Ok, entonces yo no me preocupo. Yo hablo el idioma que me inspira en el momento y ustedes compran unas Yoga Maya. Yoga Maya está en yoga. Que lo inviten también. Que la inviten. Because then I speak English if they come. Sapadi Shakti Vachonishayam Yamadye Nija Parayor Valayo Ratam Nivishesha Shtitavati Padashaini Kayurakshna Ritavati Partashake Ratir Mamashtu. The passing away of Bhishma Deva. Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st Canto, Chapter 9, text number 35. In obedience to the command of his friend, Lord Sri Krishna entered the arena of the battlefield of Kurukshetra between the soldiers of Arjuna and Duryodhana. And while there, he shortened their lifespan of the opposite party by his merciful glance. This was done simply by his looking at the enemy. Let my mind be fixed upon that Krishna. Purport by Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna ordered the infallible Lord Sri Krishna to place his chariot between the phalanxes of the soldiers. He asked him to stay there until he had finished observing the enemies he had to face in the battle. When the Lord was so asked, he at once did so, just like an order carrier. And the Lord pointed out all the important men on the opposite side, saying, here is Bhishma, here is Drona, and so on. The Lord, being the supreme living being, is never the order supplier or order carrier of anyone, whoever he may be, but out of his causeless mercy and affection for his pure devotees, sometimes he carries out the order of the devotee like an awaiting servant. By executing the order of a devotee, the Lord becomes pleased, as a father is pleased to carry out the order of his small child. This is possible only out of pure transcendental love between the Lord and his devotees. And Bhishma Deva was quite aware of this fact. He therefore addressed the Lord as the friend of Arjuna. The Lord diminished the duration of life of the opposite party by his merciful glance, It is said that all the fighters who assembled on the battlefield of Kurukshetra attained salvation by personally seeing the Lord at the time of death. Therefore, his diminishing the duration of life of Arjuna's enemy does not mean that he was partial to the cause of Arjuna. Factually, he was merciful to the opposite party because they would not have attained salvation by dying at home in the ordinary course of life. Here was a chance to see the Lord at the time of death and thus attain salvation from material life. Therefore, the Lord is our good. Therefore, the Lord is all good, and whatever he does is for everyone's good. Apparently, it was for the victory of Arjuna, his intimate friend, but factually, it was for the good of Arjuna's enemies. Such are the transcendental activities of the Lord, and whoever understands this also gets salvation after quitting this material body. The Lord does no wrong in any circumstance because he is absolute, all good at all times. This is amazing. Krishna is all good to all people at all the time. That means everything Krishna allows to happen is perfect. It's meant to happen. It's meant to reveal another feature of the Lord's potency. So if somebody is in connection with Krishna when he dies, that is the most auspicious death. That's why we follow George Harrison. Because George Harrison, he wrote one song, he called it The Art of Dying. And Prabhupada taught us the art of dying. To die with Krishna, in Krishna. Krishna this and Krishna that. Krishna high and Krishna low. Krishna right and Krishna left. Krishna outside, Krishna inside. Like when we pray to Lord Nishinga, no? Shingamadim Sharanam Prapriyate. Everywhere Krishna. Everything should be in connection with Krishna. Then you can die, no problem. Anytime. Anytime the Lord wants us to die is the best time. No worries, no sorries. Just be ready to die. The art of dying by thinking of Krishna. When you're 65 years old, and many of your contemporary friends have died who are already younger than you, and so you scratch your head, you say, it's about time, what? But it's Krishna who decides. But it is us to decide to do things for Krishna. To be with Krishna, to be in Krishna, to meditate on Radha and Krishna. Radha Krishna, Radha Krishna, Radha Krishna. Wonderful divine pastimes of the Lord. It's coming to us to meditate upon Him. In Krishna allows to. In obedience to the command of his friend, Arjuna asked Krishna, can you please show me all the people assembled here for battle? And he saw the soldiers of Duryodhana and he saw the soldiers of Arjuna. And while there, he shortened the lifespan of the opposite party. So Krishna sometimes does things we cannot understand. We do not have to understand everything. This is one thing. Sometimes devotees think you have to think of this, you have to think of that, specific, you know? And that is the way to reach perfection. But the fact of the matter is you have to think of Krishna and serving Krishna in loving attachment. That will take you to Krishna. Not mechanically, spontaneous. Krishna has to be our Ishta, our main end. Krishna being the Ishta means Radha being the Ishta, because Radha is the Ishta of Krishna. Paraprakriti, Haribol, welcome. You arrived today? So Krishna, he has his plan all the time. He has a plan for everyone. And this is difficult to understand, how Krishna has a different plan for every squirrel, for every dog, for every cow, for every horse, for every human being, for every demigod. Krishna has a personal plan for each and every one of us, and that is a plan of grace. Grace flows from Krishna. He is only well-wisher of every living being. Grace, the grace which flows into this world. And what is that grace? The grace that we can be accepted as Krishna's servants. Somehow. Somebody's pujari, somebody writes books. Somebody is a treasurer and counts the money which comes in the temple all the time. Somebody is a book distributor, a Sankirtan devotee. Somebody is making houses for Krishna. All these services. And somebody like Arjuna stands in the battlefield for Krishna. That is very difficult. Arjuna is in the top difficult situation. Not only is he in the battlefield in front of his own family members, people who are near and dear to him. They are there with weapons in the hand, ready to clash, ready to fight. Anybody would want to run away from that. And Arjuna also said, my Gandiva is slipping from my hands. I'm bewildered about my duty. Now I accept you as my guru. Please instruct me. Krishna, why you want me to fight here? Because it is the divine providence which has said that you have to work for dharma. You have to fight for dharma. You have to give dharma to the world. Yudhisthira is called Dharma Raj. He is the personification of dharma. By his sweet will of his sweet dharma, he is showing the example which makes him the great personality of the Mahabharata, Yudhisthira. And still, when he even doubts to execute Lord Krishna's order for a second, his chariot crashes to the ground. It said that his chariot was always a little above the ground because he was so perfect. But chariot crushed to the ground when he doubted to say Ashwatthama is dead. Finally he said it, but he said, Ashwatthama is dead. But he doubted that Krishna was saying the right thing for him. So in our life we're fighting our ego, number one. The big ego we carry inside. We don't have to fight with our family generally. Sometimes family says, hey, you don't go to this Krishna devotees. And you say, Father, Mother, I love you so much. But I have to. Krishna's calling me. Krishna loves me. I love him. I have to go to Krishna. But generally we do not fight in this world. Mahaprabhu's fighting is to give everybody a nice transcendental invitation to the Vaishnava family, Vaishnava books, Vaishnava prasad. Everything is like... But still we have to fight with our mind. Because the mind is always tendency not to surrender. The mind has so many ideas. Where's Mother Rohini? Huh? In Jaipur? Acha. So to learn the art of dying is definitely the main purpose of doing everything we do. But the art of dying is the art of loving. If you love Krishna, then you have accomplished the goal. So we can die any moment. Actually, we are dying every moment. These cells, they're always, some are dying, some are born. The soul is eternal. We are not dying really. So it's a process of learning. Learning. Learning to serve. Krishna, 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 Krishna. Hey! So, are we ready to go in the footsteps of Arjuna and to simply do what Krishna asks us to do? Without any consideration, oh, this is dangerous. You know, the war is dangerous. You can be killed any second. Say, no, I want to wash dishes. I don't want to go into war. No, I want to pick flowers and make flower garlands. I don't like this business. Krishna said, no, Arjuna, you're not making flower garlands. You have to fight this war. So many times we want to escape our duty and just run somewhere else and do something else. What is our duty? What we have to do in this lifetime? That is our big question we always ask. And when we get the answer, then we have a target. What is our target? Each and everyone has a target. We also call it dharma. Your personal dharma. What is the personal dharma? And sometimes we are not very clear about it. Sometimes we wish it would be different. Sometimes we are brahmacharis, but we really wish to be married. Or brahmacharinis. Or maybe we are married and we really wish not to be married anymore. All these things happen. Whatever we may think of, our dharma is where we have to give our heart and soul. Sometimes we know our dharma is in Colombia, and sometimes our dharma is in India. In India. Oh my God. Can you understand divine plan of Krishna? Well, I can only say one thing. My own testimony is, I don't understand the plan of Krishna. But I'm mesmerized by seeing Krishna's plan developing, evolving in one way or another. I don't know. I just want to be close to the lotus feet of my Sri Guru Charana Padma, of my Prabhupada, and my Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. Because without them there's nothing for me in this world. And if it takes many lifetimes to go home, back to God, then let it be so. Hopefully in the association of devotees preaching. Any questions? Yes, my dear Subal.
How to identify what dharma is Krishna is giving to us and how to act without fear?
Mm-hmm. The dharma prochita kaitavatra. The dharma means it should be the honest way, where you do the best you can understand. You cannot fulfill or execute a dharma if you don't feel it, if you have not accepted it within your heart. Then it will simply not work. So, incorporation, Guru, Shastra, Sadhu, we are trying to work out what is our dharma. There's also our own determination. Like, for example, many of the things in my life, almost most, nobody told me to do that. On principle, yes. Go and preach, help others, like that, no? But nobody told me, go and open a temple in Bolivia now. Nobody told me. Nobody told me, go and install Gonitai in Quito. Also, it's just the Dharma as such manifests as we sincerely, and what we know from the Dharma, from the scriptures. Savai Pungsa Paro Dharma, the highest of all dharmas. What is it? Savai Pungsam Paro Dharma Yator Bhakti Adoksha is to get bhakti for Adoksha. That amazing personality. Yator Bhakti Adoksha Ahaitukiya Pratiyata Yayatmas Suprasidati. It should be uninterrupted and unmotivated. Just bhakti for Adoksha. That is the highest time, highest elevation. And fear. When we chant Hare Krishna, even fear personified will depart. That is the best method against fear, chanting Hare Krishna. Therefore, the doctor says, you only have half an hour to live. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Today, I heard a very, very beloved son of mine has left the world. Somehow I was not informed, or maybe I forgot, I don't know. But today I became aware that a very dear son of mine, Krishna Kshetra, has left this world. And I heard how he left this world in a very wonderful way. Krishna conscious way. So just chant Hare Krishna and don't have fear. And if you still have fear, keep chanting. And chant nicely. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Or make kirtan. Or chant in the mind. But the fear will go when you remember that Krishna controls everything, like we were reading now. No? These people's life was finished when Krishna went in between. No? They were dying in the next few days. But they got the greatest benediction. So sometimes it's not unnatural to be fearful, because we identify with this body. No? Oh my body, oh my body. No, one finger, don't cut. Come on, it's only one finger. No, my finger, no. Huh? Some people can't even cut their nails. Any other question? Are you satisfied?
Yes, Guru.
Any other question?